Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, August 15th, 2018. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves has said a public education program is needed to address the issues associated with the misuse and abuse of marijuana. The Prime Minister Gonsalves, who was speaking at a news conference on Monday, said this must be done as the country moves forward with the legislative framework for the creation of a medical marijuana industry and the decriminalization of the herb as a religious sacrament. The Prime Minister said he was awaiting a report from the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education regarding a public education program and disagrees with those who say there is no danger of abuse and misuse.
You're doing also decriminalization for medicinal purposes. You have to have a very good educational program on the challenges, the risks, the dangers of the misuse and abuse. Because there are people who tell me, Ralph, there's no danger of misuse or abuse. You eat too much food. It is not a narcotic and it's a danger to your body, much less to something which is a narcotic. It has medicinal properties, they have beneficial uses. But why are people who in their advocacy of chanting legalize it don't accept that simple fact?
Dr. Gonsalves said he has reservations on the practical application of laws which allow the use of marijuana for recreational purposes, as it can create friction between the public and the police. He believes the current policy where the police does not arrest someone for smoking a joint in private should continue.
And what I say, what we do is that you don't create the problem with the police in that way. You have quote-unquote tolerance. You don't use it in public, or if you have it, the block is like how the police have been building up and using that over the last 15 years. They come inside of your house, they meet you and your wife smoking ganja, they don't humbug you with it. Of course, if you have a set of ganja in a corner, which indicate the volume that you're going to traffic in it, they're going to lock you up for that. But not even smoking a spliff behind your grandmother's house or in your bed with your woman. So I believe that we have to proceed with this matter, not as persons saying with caution. Proceed with this matter with wisdom and understanding.
On September 6th, 3 bills will be tabled in Parliament as the government moves forward with the legislative platform for the medical marijuana industry. 2 community consultations this week have been organized to obtain public feedback on the bills. Members of the Vector Control Unit are increasing their knowledge and sharpening their skills to be used in the fight against mosquitoes. This as the Public Health Department holds a 1-week capacity building workshop at the Fisheries Conference Room. The workshop is being facilitated by Karen Paulson Edwards, an advisor on climate and environment determinants of health with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO. He told SVG-TV News that the participants are being taught the biological features of the mosquito and the various methods which can be used to control their population.
We're doing a few things. We're looking to build capacity in the vector control staff so that, one, they know how to implement aspects of integrated vector management. Integrated vector management has several components which include capacity building, and that is what we're focused on. So we're looking at areas to do with identification of mosquitoes so that persons can know what mosquito species are existing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Once they know what mosquitoes are there, where they find them, where they breed, what diseases they can transmit, how they can prevent and control those mosquitoes. We're also going to be looking at testing the mosquitoes against chemicals that we use to control the mosquitoes to see if there's resistance or no resistance. And then we're also going to look at different types of control tools that are used currently. We focus on use of insecticides, but there are other tools like biological control, physical control, and so on. And there are new tools coming on stream like genetically modified mosquitoes, using bacteria, infected mosquitoes, and so on. So we're looking at those, and we'll also be doing some field work in which we go out to collect mosquitoes, come back and use the skills that they would have developed in the workshop.
Dr. Edwards said so far the team from the Vector Control Unit is showing great dedication and enthusiasm in learning more of the control of the mosquito.
Building the capacity, the vector control program will be strengthened in terms of being able to identify the mosquito species they have, to use the appropriate control measures, and to do surveillance in terms of knowing where the high-risk areas are for them to focus their control efforts.
Okay, and so far, how are the participants?
Very good. They're always very engaged, and it's always good to go to countries to work with vector control staff. Very dedicated persons who are on the field all the time, seeing what's happening on the ground. So they're excited about it because some of them would not have seen a mosquito under the microscope before, and the actual practical aspects of it in terms of going out and relating what they do on a day-to-day basis to what they're learning here is exciting for them.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines is falling behind in meeting the HIV/AIDS triple 90 targets by 2020 set by UN AIDS. This is according to the findings of an assessment on the status of HIV/AIDS that was done last December. Countries have agreed to a UN AIDS target to reach 90% in treatment coverage, viral suppression, and linking care and treatment to persons living with the virus by 2020. Director of the National AIDS Secretariat, Sister Ferosa Roach, told SVG-TV News today that the analysis found that SVG is below the halfway mark on 2 of the 3 targets, these being treatment coverage and viral suppression.
We have a total of 832 persons living with HIV, and only 391 are on antiretroviral treatment. So we are at 46% with the second target. The third target, which speaks to viral suppression of HIV positive people on antiretroviral treatment, we are at 39%. So as of the 391 persons who are on AT, 243 had viral load done, and of the 243 we received back 189 results, which indicate that 154 clients have virally suppressed.
The Health Services in SVG offers a cocktail of treatment to persons who test positive for HIV to help prolong and maintain a certain quality of life. Sister Rhodes said there are still several challenges, including the unavailability of viral load testing in SVG, insufficient sustained education on behavioral change, and funding. She said stigma and decriminalization remains an issue for the National AIDS Secretariat's program, as some people refuse to be tested while others are afraid to disclose their status.
Still having a lot of stigma and persons discriminating against persons who are living with HIV. And that is a big problem, because persons are not willing to come forward and to disclose their status. Persons are hiding, they're not coming for treatment, and there's where we having a big problem. So I think we need to do a lot more education to address this issue.
The director of the National AIDS Secretariat is encouraging persons to get tested, as she believes that many people are HIV positive but are not aware of it. Persons can go to the health centers in their area and ask for the test to be done. Former Attorney General Arthur Williams will be accorded an official funeral this Saturday. The former Minister of Government, who founded the law firm Williams & Williams, died last week Tuesday at age 85. A public announcement from the Cabinet Secretary states that Williams's body will lie in the House of Assembly chambers on Saturday the 18th of August for official viewing from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., followed by viewing by the public from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The funeral service for the former West St. George MP will take place on Saturday the 18th at the Kingston Methodist Church from 2 p.m. As a mark of respect, all flags throughout the state will be flown at half-staff on Friday and Saturday. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves has said the government is working steadily to improve the working conditions of public servants. PM Gonsalves was responding at a news conference this week to criticisms by the Public Service Union that there are employees in the Ministry of National Mobilization who are working in sweltering heat since the building lacks ventilation or air conditioning. The union's president, Elroy Boucher, raised this as one of its many concerns about the employment conditions of its members, which it needs the government to address. Prime Minister Gonsalves said a private entity was contacted to install an air-conditioned system in the named ministry building, and he was disappointed that the work was not yet done.
Very much for the persons who are in social development, places too hot. You know, it's strange, you know, must have been earlier this year, Edmund, you were here in the cabinet. I took up the phone when the matter was raised and I called a private sector entity to install the air condition and so on. I left it in the relevant hands and was subsequently, sometime after, very disappointed to hear that this was not done for one reason or the other.
The Prime Minister said there are plans to move the workers to the Inland Revenue Building. However, there are unexpected delays.
We have a program we had to do that temporarily because we want to move them into the building which has which houses the Inland Revenue. But the Inland Revenue has to move to another building, and we put the bid in. We have purchased a building in town, and the transaction took a little longer, and they have to do some internal retrofitting. And when I heard that, I said, listen, let's do this temporary fix. Doesn't matter that we had to spend the money on the air-conditioned units. I say that just in that regard so that the public servants will know that I have their back.
The youths have been challenged to use their skills and imagination to stamp their mark in the world of technology. Dishing out this challenge was the director of the NTRC, Apollo Knights, who was speaking at the closing ceremony of the NTRC's Beckway My App Summer Program last Friday. 19 students from various secondary schools across the nation took part in the 4-week program, which was designed to teach software coding and mobile application design. The program was also a stepping stone to the NTRC's annual I-Squared competition. Knight said the importance of software has skyrocketed over the last 10 years, and he believes the program will give the participants the skills to create new software and improve upon existing software in the future.
We've also seen a move towards robotics and integration of software and the hardware part, and that's why this year we introduced the microbit. This is it right here, credit card size. It's a computer, right? I went to a conference in February, and they were demonstrating it, and I thought it was a very good idea. And we spoke to the people there, and we got some to do. We introduced it this year in the program, so we integrated it into the curriculum. I assume the students was able to do some good things with it, and I expect to do more with it going forward through the different programs we run. Right, but for example, when I was at the conference, the lady was changing her PowerPoint, not with a normal controller. She had programmed it and used it to change the PowerPoint on a laptop. That things you can do with it. So you can do a lot of stuff with it, just using the imagination, right?
The program's instructor, Siron Cyrus, said the students gained useful knowledge which they can now build upon to create opportunities for themselves.
Now, I must admit that it's quite a challenge to go from knowing absolutely nothing about programming to being able to design and code a simple application which will run on an actual device. Because these children have been doing work where their apps actually run on phones. But there were times where some of them wanted to give up. I'm looking at some of them now. They know who they are. But they stuck with it and gave it the best shot. And today, they are leaving with the skills which they can expand on and further to create more complex applications as they continue to learn. This opens up possible career paths for them as they continue to grow and learn in this continually growing technological age. I would like to wish each and every one of these participants of this year's program best of luck in their future endeavors, whether they pursue a career in app development or if they decide to go another route. I see a lot of potential from this class, and I wish them best of luck.
Delivering the valedictory speech, Eli Davis thanked the facilitators for their efforts and encouraged fellow participants to be proud of their accomplishments.
And I would like to thank our teachers and supervisors for encouraging that kind of behavior, the behavior of working together instead of the competitive, every man for himself way that a lot of schools down here encourage. Now, I would like to perform two short activities before I exit off stage. Class of 2018, I would like you to take a moment to look at your parents or guardians or whoever dragged you here today and silently thank them for sending you to these summer classes, even if it wasn't, even if it was against your own will, like me. Because think of it, you now possess the knowledge that not even a handful on this island know. And if that's not good enough for you, well, you now have new bragging rights to go back to school with.
Close to 100 children and youths aged 2 to 16 are learning the art of drumming at a 6-week Naked Roots Drumming Summer program at the Craft Center at French's. The main facilitator, Nzimbu Brown, explained to SVG-TV News that the participants are also being taught folk songs and poetry as a means of keeping certain cultural traditions alive. Larissa Kidd visited the workshop and tells us more in this report.
Nzimbu Brown has a passion for drumming and he believes you are not too young to learn the skill. Little wonder that he has partnered with institutions that cater to the needs of children, including the VinSave Child Care and Development Center, which has incorporated drumming as part of their summer program this year. And the children seem to be loving the experience. Instructor Nzimbu Brown said culture and the traditions need to be revived here in SVG, and he wants to contribute to this in a tangible way, hence the introduction of the program.
So far, the whole idea is to share what we learn from the elders, the folkloric and the traditions of St. Vincent the Grenadines that belong to Vincentian, Urumi. So, what we're trying to do every time we have a program like this is to share with the children who just born the folk culture.
Nicole Primus, a teacher of the Kingstown Nursery, said drumming will be a big part of the independence celebrations in October, and as such, preschoolers are preparing for the celebrations.
We'll be planning an independence extravaganza, so we want to incorporate drumming in that activity. So we asked Nzimbu if we can get the children to get some drumming practice for that day.
Reporting for SVG-TV News, I am Larissa Kidd.
The Ministry of Works is this year putting $2.5 million into the road cleaning program, which began in various communities on Monday. An official at BRAXA, the Roads, Bridges and General Services Authority, said the clearing and debushing is being carried out principally on the main roads over a period of 8 working days. Some work is also being undertaken on specified interior roads for a longer period. The August road cleaning program is usually done with the purchase of school supplies in mind.